Hello there. It's been a really good few weeks for the stock market since we had the first announcements of an effective vaccine against the coronavirus. We've seen markets around the world really take off. And in particular, we've seen an increase in the value of some of those companies that have done really poorly throughout the pandemic. And that is actually one of the reasons why, in particular, the FTSE 100 has done comparatively well, because it's full of a lot of stocks, like, for example, energy stocks, which have actually really struggled during the pandemic. So whilst we've seen an increase in the markets, we have used that as an opportunity to just reduce equity exposure in some of our portfolios just a little bit, bank some of those gains that we've seen recently, and protect the portfolio just in case we did get a bit of a pullback. However, we actually do still remain pretty optimistic. Hopefully, as the vaccine gets rolled out, hopefully we can see that it actually works in the real world and not just in trials. We don't know at the moment whether or not it helps to stop onward transmission of the virus, so let's hope that we get some evidence that that is the case. And if so, we therefore think that both the UK and the global economy can actually do really, really well in 2021, as a vaccine helps us to recover from that kind of COVID-related slump. Now, there are risks, of course, to that. The vaccine may not work. We may not be able to effectively roll it out. And of course, here in the UK, we also have Brexit-related risks. We're still waiting to hear the outcome of those trade negotiations. And we're being warned to prepare for a possible no deal, or what they're calling an Australian-style future relationship with the EU. So that is a risk. From a portfolio point of view, we're quite comfortable with where we're positioned. We think whilst some of the stocks in the portfolio might get hit if we did see a no deal, others would actually do very well. In particular, we think the pound could fall if there was a no deal, and that falling pound would actually push up the value of some of our overseas holdings. And so generally, we think we're quite happy with how we're positioned. But let's take the opposite view. What happens if we do get a trade deal? If we do get a trade deal and the vaccine's working effectively and it's rolled out effectively, then we could see a real acceleration in UK growth next year. So, we remain positive, in particular on some of those UK smaller company stocks that have been sort of undervalued by international investors for the past few years because of Brexit, and also because of the virus has hit some of those companies harder than it's hit some of the large cap stocks. So we remain pretty positive, but we just have to be cautious. Turning back to the virus front, we are seeing the cases increase here in the UK at the moment again since lockdown was lifted. And with Christmas coming up, we therefore, have a bit of a concern that we might see a further lockdown in January. In some ways, having hopefully a vaccine on the horizon will actually make lockdowns more likely, we think, because the government can look at these and think, well, this is probably going to be temporary. The cost to the government of supporting the economy through the lockdown is going to be therefore a bit limited. And so, until we kind of have got enough people vaccinated, I still think that's possible that we may see further lockdowns. And of course, that's not great, but if we can look through that, we do think there's quite an optimistic economic scenario for 2021. So on that note, I'd just like to wish everybody watching this a happy Christmas and happy New Year, and please stay safe and look after yourselves. Thank you.